The story of Kate Waring is not just a detective mystery, but a true drama that makes one reflect on how fragile human life can be. Kate Waring's disappearance in 2009 shocked not only her family, but also everyone who followed the case. What seemed like an ordinary life of a young woman struggling with depression and searching for herself turned into a tragedy, one that was uncovered only thanks to the persistence and determination of a group of independent detectives. But behind this story lies not just a crime, but a whole chain of events that led to that fateful day. Kate Waring was born and raised in Charleston, South Carolina. She was an ordinary girl from a loving family, where her parents did their best to provide their children with everything they needed. From childhood, Kate showed a deep love for animals, took dance lessons, and dreamed of a bright future. As a teenager, she began volunteering at animal shelters, which further highlighted her kindness and compassion. She had many friends, and everyone who knew Kate described her as a cheerful and positive person. But behind this outward happiness lay a dark secret. Shortly before entering college, Kate confessed to her parents that she had been a victim of abuse as a child at the hands of someone close to their family. This revelation came as a shock to her parents, who had never suspected what their daughter had endured. Kate never revealed the abuser's name, and this secret remained undisclosed. However, the trauma she suffered began to manifest in her adult life. After Kate's revelation, her life began to change. The trauma she had experienced in childhood started to take its toll. She developed problems with alcohol and later with illegal substances. Her parents urged her to seek treatment, and Kate agreed. She moved back home to be closer to her family and started seeing a therapist. It seemed that therapy was helping, but the weight of her past still pressed heavily on her. A psychiatrist diagnosed Kate with depression, and she continued her battle with inner demons. Kate's father, who had always supported her, suggested that she take a trip to help distract herself from her dark thoughts. She chose to travel to the Arctic Circle to see polar bears. The journey became a breath of fresh air for her. Kate returned home feeling renewed and even started writing a children's book. It seemed like her life was finally getting back on track. She also formed new friendships, including one with a man from Russia with whom she kept in touch after her trip. However, new people also entered her life, people who would play a fatal role. June 12, 2009, became a turning point in this story. Kate was home alone while her family was out. She always called her father to let him know she was okay, but on that day, the call never came. Her father tried to reach her, but there was no answer. When Kate's mother returned home, she discovered that her daughter was missing. The lights were on in her room, and her essential medication was left on the bed, something she never ignored. This was alarming, as Kate was always careful about her health and took her medication regularly. Kate's parents decided not to panic at first, but as days passed, the situation grew even stranger. The bank informed them that a man had attempted to cash a $4,000 check signed by Kate. The signature appeared to be authentic, but her father knew that Kate had only a few $100s in her account. The man who presented the check was named Mack. He claimed that Kate had given it to him to settle a debt. However, Kate's parents had never heard of this man, and his sudden appearance raised their suspicions. The police launched an investigation but quickly lost interest in the case. Kate's parents believed this was due to her troubled past. However, in August 2009, a group of independent detectives, led by attorney Andy Savage, took over the case. They began by searching Kate's bedroom, where they found Chinese currency and a package of medication she would never have left behind. These discoveries raise serious concerns. Investigators also uncovered a disturbing clue. On the day she disappeared, Kate had left a frantic voicemail for a friend, stating that her credit cards had been stolen. The last call made from her phone was traced to the James Island area, where Ethan Mack was renting an apartment. Digging deeper, detectives discovered that Ethan and his girlfriend, Heather Kamp, were involved in fraudulent schemes. Heather, who falsely claimed to be a pediatric surgeon, already had a criminal record for document forgery. Investigators confirmed that she was the one who had forged Kate's signature on the check. Moreover, they discovered that Heather had met Kate a month before her disappearance on a train from Washington. Heather had told Kate that her wallet had been stolen, prompting Kate to lend her money. However, it later became clear that Heather had lied not only about her job, but also about the supposed death of her daughter, raising even more suspicion. Using hidden cameras and GPS trackers, the investigative team monitored Ethan and Heather's movements. They found that Ethan had been selling jewelry at pawn shops, though they were unable to prove that the items belonged to Kate. However, the breakthrough in the case came when detectives traced an iPod that Heather had given to her lover, Terry Williams. The device's serial number confirmed that it had belonged to Kate. This crucial piece of evidence became a turning point in the investigation. Under the weight of the evidence, Heather agreed to cooperate with the investigation. She led authorities to the location where, according to her, Kate's body had been hidden. After several failed search attempts, Kate's remains were finally discovered on Wadmalaw Island. Heather confessed to the murder and check forgery, while Ethan was sentenced to 25 years in prison. Heather received 39 years for her crimes, including fraud. The court reconstructed the timeline of events. On the day of her disappearance, Kate discovered that Heather had deceived her and stolen her credit cards. She threatened to tell her father, which could have led to police involvement. In an attempt to cover up their crimes, Heather and Ethan decided to eliminate Kate. They lured her into their apartment where they carried out the murder. The story of Kate Waring is not just a tragedy, it's a lesson. It highlights the importance of fighting for the truth, even when the system turns its back on you. Thanks to the relentless efforts of independent detectives, the killers were brought to justice, and Kate's family finally received the answers they had been desperately seeking. But at what cost? Some of the investigative methods used pushed the boundaries of the law. Was justice worth such sacrifices? That question remains unanswered. This case serves as a stark reminder of how quickly life can change in an instant. Kate fought the demons of her past, found the strength to move forward, yet ultimately became a victim of betrayal and greed. Her story is a testament to the idea that even in the darkest moments, there is hope for truth and justice. But at what price? And that concludes our coverage of this tragic story. If you found this video informative or thought-provoking, don't forget to subscribe to our channel for more updates on cases like these. We'd love to hear your thoughts in the comments below. Feel free to share this video with your friends and give it a thumbs up if you found it valuable. Thank you for watching.